Welcome to the Getting High on Leadership series featuring Paul Karasik. Paul is one of America's top management consultants helping leaders succeed. He is the author of 9 books, including Sweet Persuasion and Brilliant Thoughts and Provocative Questions. His insights appear regularly in major publications, and he is one of the most sought-after executive coaches. Paul founded the American Seminar Leaders Association and the Psychedelic Institute of Los Angeles. He is a popular speaker at national conferences and has been on stages across all 50 states and internationally. Paul's work addresses the question, how can we transform conflict in business into collaboration? With decades of experience in management, leadership, and psychedelics, he brings a unique perspective on personal and societal growth. In this series, we'll be discussing his latest book, Getting High on Leadership, The Leader's Guide to Higher Consciousness. We'll be exploring the concepts, techniques, and mindset required to revolutionize leadership. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the series. My name is Sanchez, your host, and we are joined by Paul Karasik, the author of Getting High on Leadership. As we make our way through his book, section by section, chapter by chapter, we're discussing conscious leadership. And here in part 3, we're working on integration now that we've really laid out a lot of the perspective, the concepts, and tools of conscious leadership. Today's section is called Keeping Passion Alive, and it can be found on page 122 of the book. Feel free to grab a copy for yourself from the link down below. And Paul, welcome back, man. And today we're talking about an interesting topic here on how to really keep that leadership passion, that entrepreneurial passion or innovative passion alive, man. And it's always burns really strong in the beginning, and then you realize maybe you run into a few obstacles or something takes longer than you expected, and before too long that energy level can start to wane.
Yeah, and I think that it wears on you. Sometimes doing the same thing a lot. You know, I don't care whether you're a rock star or you're programmer for cannabis companies, or you're a management consultant, there's a certain repetitiveness to what we do in daily life. I always think some of these rock stars, even like, they've got to get bored. Oh, another stadium, with 50,000 people in it. They're still like, but this is their like 5,000th stadium. This is not like a new experience. They're like, it's another stadium with the sound system and this and that. And I think that bears into it as well. Just the repetitive nature of life itself, regardless of what role you're in. You could be Oprah Winfrey, you could be a train conductor, but there's
whatever you're doing, you're going to feel some monotony in that.
There's got to be. I mean, it's just like, that's just the way it is. And same with leadership. So what's this chapter about? This chapter, Keeping the Passion Alive, is understanding and what this is, what passion is, and what prevents it from working. And it's been my experience that, and we touched on it in the last chapter, it's about authenticity. That's so much of when you see people expressing their passion and they get you excited, what's going on there? What's really happening there? What's really happening is they really enjoy whatever they're talking about. They really feel good about it. They want to tell other people about it. That's what's going on. That there's an authentic connection to what they're doing every day and who they are inside. And we can call this meaning or mission or personal mission, or our connection to life in general, or your life purpose.
Almost like the closer those two things are aligned, the more you can refill the tank as you drain it, or the faster you can, right?
Well, you don't even feel the drain sometimes. As we pointed out, it will drain you. And in this chapter, it did drain the executive in question, this story. But yeah, you're right. It's circular. Because you're getting juice. You're juiced about what you're doing and what you're saying and how you're acting, and you're getting it back, and it becomes very addictive, right? So
Yeah,
you
that's that drive of the serial entrepreneurs that just, keep starting things. They can't
right,
stop.
right. Then no, they can't stop. It's just because it's another passion, and they're excited about it, and so they find, instead of changing what they're doing, they change the audience. So they find a different way to channel that passion in. So what's this chapter about? This chapter is about an executive who comes to a guru, a teacher, and says, I'm burnt out. I'm a leader and I just have no juice, and I don't know what's going on. And he gives her some advice and says, well, you have to find the things that really give you passion, and like not do anything else, which is easier said than done, but she does it, and begins to just only do the things that rejuvenate her, that she's passionate about, that she feels good about, and lets go of all the other stuff. And with that, a renewed vitality occurs. And so the tricky part is when we begin as a leader, sometimes we do certain things, but as we develop, we do other things. And that becomes like, what is it? The actual activities are changing, right? So it becomes even a little more touchy and a little more difficult. Now you're doing things that you didn't do when you began.
And that passion maybe was for beginning.
It was for the beginning, and it was for that particular
Yeah.
activity. And and now you're on this leadership, kind of like on road, let's put it that way. And those activities have now transformed into some other activities. Think about leaders who are used to doing live meetings with their team, and now they're doing virtual. Now they're doing them online. For me personally, that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah,
If I
you're not
have a
getting
room,
that same feedback, that same presentation feeling.
right, right, exactly. So it began this way, and you're passionate about running meetings and collaborating and getting ideas from people. And as a leader, if you're passionate about that, that's a golden ticket, man. If you enjoy that process, then you are meant to be a conscious leader, right? But now things change. The world changed. Pandemic, no more meetings, no more conference. We're doing it now. You're doing the same meetings. You're doing them online. You're sitting alone in your cabin or in the woods or in the city, in your apartment, whatever. There's nobody around you. You're not getting that connection, that human touch, that human connection, that human communication. And how can you not feel like this woman in this story, this executive,
Yeah.
of just like, I'm not
Yeah,
feeling good about,
and in your case, that kind of separates you, right, from the people and that connection that you need to lead well, and that starts to drain that tank at a faster rate than you're used to, which can ultimately lead to problems if you don't correct that quickly and start to get in touch. I can definitely see that. I can see that happening on both the small scale items, just like little things that happen in life or work, but then of course on the big ones, like massive changes like that, not being face to face anymore.
Oh, it's a whole different thing, and there's no energy and there's no passion. We mentioned it earlier, but I want to repeat it. A lot of leadership is like sales. And we said leadership is the transference of an emotion. And one of the things as a sales, a trainer and consultant, is you got to love what you sell. You got to be connected to what you sell. You got to use what you sell. You got to know what you sell. You got to believe in what you sell. If you want to be successful, I'm talking about in sales, all that stuff. So now you have a leader who's not passionate about what they're doing. They're not passionate about this particular activity. And so how effective are you really going to be once that passion is gone? Really, when we talk about conscious leadership, kiss it goodbye. Kiss the whole thing goodbye, because that's what's making a leader stand out, is this love and this passion, and the wanting to share it, the wanting to motivate people to do those things, the wanting to train and coach people on those particular things, because they believe in it, because they've seen it, they've felt it, and now you're kissing it all goodbye because you don't have the passion. And you know, it's not about passion. It doesn't matter the activity, it comes from what's within. It's your connection to that activity. It's not the activity. I don't like doing in the example of Zoom calls. It's not about the activity, it's about the passion to be with people face to face, belly to belly, drinking a cup of coffee with them, talking with them, feeling them, seeing them in real time and in real life.
Right.
And
there's like
that,
an underlying, often there could be an underlying reason too, that you have to kind of get to the core of why that passion feels like it's waning. There's something at its root that you need as an individual, you know, that you need to provide yourself, or that maybe you need to step away for a moment and have a brief respite. And, you know, that plays a little bit on our balance conversation from the last episode.
And find out, to your point, Rob, find out what are those things that you absolutely get your passion from. What are the activities through the course of the day?
Where are you fulfilled again, or where can you fill up that energy?
Where can you fill up? And you once you become conscious about what those things are, you can choose them. And in many cases, you know, and I said this before, and some of this, we're kind of wrapping up now in this series, you know, you're only successful with what you feel really good about, and a leader, and you're good at, and no leader is good at everything. So you got to walk in accepting the truth about leadership is, I'm great at certain things, and those other things they drain my passion. They make me less effective as a leader. Right?
Yes.
And I've got to either let it go, get somebody else to do it, and that type of thing. You know, and everybody, like I said, no leader is the full package. No leader is the full package. And
I struggle with that so much with meetings, and we've talked about before, you know, like in my actual work life, if I get days full of meetings, even if the meetings aren't necessarily demanding, it feels like this mental weight that just diminishes like everything I do that day.
Exactly.
And they can be the easiest meetings you could ever imagine. It could even be a meeting where I don't have to speak, but I still feel some kind of like I don't know if I can. Yeah. I got to keep everything in my mind and attend this meeting and attend the next one.
I know.
So it does start to weigh on you at times, or you realize. I think like in that example, you know, I feel that way because often my role in these situations is very much like an individual contributor. I need to kind of have my head down and roll my sleeves up and work. And I think what I feel on the meetings at times is like, I'm still waiting to get to work. I'm like holding the shovel, you know, waiting for them to ring the bell that I can begin again. So I think everyone has their own, maybe those parts of their job or their daily life where they see that monotony and starting to address it, man, and realizing how you can just get ready for the next day because there's no stopping it. I think that plays in one of our earlier sections too, maybe back all the way in part 1, talking about the really the powerlessness you have to battle the universe, right? That monotony is going to appear. That passion will wane eventually if you find it as your project expands, as you've explained, you know. So it's more about becoming agile and trying to find what that authentic thing that you have is. If it's just hanging out, if it's cooking, traveling,
Mm-hmm.
like you did with that relationship, reading
Mm-hmm.
or seeing people. I think there's all those different ways to kind of escape a little bit and keep that balance.
Yeah, getting and it's interesting. Years ago, I went to a retreat, and it was 6 weeks in on Maui with a very famous
Wow.
leader. She had a big book. She was on Oprah, and I met her, and she said, "We're doing this 6 week retreat. It's transformation retreat." And by the way, I don't even know. You ever like not even read something but know you wanted to do it, like kind of like a movie,
You were
like.
ready to go.
Yeah, like I didn't know what it
Yeah.
said on the flyer, but like I was like, whatever this is, this is. So I told my boss, and I just started a new job, and I said, I'm going to take 6 weeks off, and I guess he wanted me to work there, so he said okay, and when I came back, I still had a job, but I'd only been working there a couple months when I did this 6 week thing, and the whole premise of it was every day you would live your truth. And there was about 30 of us at this retreat, and every day, so if you came up to me and you said, "Hey Paul, do you want to go it was on I think I mentioned it was on Maui, so do you want to go to the beach today and we'll hang out," um, as opposed to people pleasing and or anything, you'd kind of look inside, you go like, "No, no, I don't think I want to go to the beach with you. I'm just feeling like I want to just maybe read or meditate, but thank you." And
Hmm.
everything you would do and everything you said had to be truth and honesty. And
Hmm.
sometimes it would upset people because like in that kind of an
It'd be pretty
example, like,
blunt.
yeah, like I'm
Like, come on,
no,
Paul, you don't want to go to the beach with me?
no, and and
Yeah.
I'm not feeling it, and but it was amazing what happened, Rob. After even I would say about 3 weeks, every day you had to live your truth. Every single day, you had to live your truth. You had to be true to what was coming up inside of you. If you didn't want to talk to somebody, you walked away from them. If you wanted to, it was
Yeah.
amazing. I have to tell you, it's funny. Maybe that's why I like this particular story, because it's basically the same kind of a situation. But I saw it in real life when I came back. I had a sort of a semi relationship with my dad. I mean, I was kind of reevaluating it and this type of thing. And I said, I don't want to. I want to take a break from my dad and not speak with him. And I stood by that. I stood by, just take a break, not with anger or anything. I'm not mad at him, but just see what life is like, where you're not dependent on his approval or his whatever. Like just be your own person. And that took a lot of guts for me, to say, I don't want to see you for a while. And I actually took a whole year. And
Hmm.
he didn't even notice, by the way. He didn't even notice that I
He's
didn't see him
busy
for a
doing
year.
everything.
No, honestly, he didn't. He didn't. So obviously, that's probably why we had such issues, right? But it was beautiful for me because I stood up for myself. And it's
Hmm.
when I came back from that retreat in Hawaii, that was my one of my big takeaways. When I came back to my relationship with my father, it was never as good. It was so good. I mean, and from then on, really till when he died, we had a great relationship by me living my truth and taking a
Hmm.
break and being true to myself, saying, no, I don't want to. I just want to disconnect for a while. I'll take a year and just disconnect. And we hugged. We came back and we did stuff, and we had a great relationship. Um,
Yeah. So
till when
sometimes it
he
really is
died.
about
So that's
kind of
what
finding
I'm
that.
sharing with you is some really important tips for people that are on that success thing, and got to make it in the world type of thing,
Grinding, pushing.
and the grind
Yeah.
and the pushing, and um, the repetitiveness of life. But this chapter is a really important chapter, and we can't live it as purely as in this story, but we can certainly check in on a daily basis and say, what are the activities that give me juice, and what are the
Hmm.
activities that I do that drain me juice, and how can I find good people who can support the enterprise and what we're doing and actually do it better than me. And I don't have to do the stuff that I'm not that good at and I don't like,
Focus on what you're good at and what you enjoy.
and what you love. I mean, that's ideal
Yeah.
life,
It
and that's
sounds
what,
simple, but it's complex.
well, because everything comes with some crap, everything comes
Yeah.
with some things that we don't like. And, you know, um, sometimes it's unbearable. You can't make it through the whole thing, even though it's something there that you like, because there's something you really don't like as a part of it. So, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
about. I think we have some good takeaways from this one too, Rob.
Definitely, yes. No, thank you for the wisdom, and I hope all the listeners and viewers enjoyed this more narrative approach. We'll be releasing the next episode next week. Feel free to start from the beginning or pick and choose from any chapter titles that catch your interest. As always, you can grab a book from the link in the show notes below. Thank you. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Getting High on Leadership series. If you have any questions, you can comment below or send them in via email to paul@paulkarasik.com. Follow him on Instagram at PK_theconversation. Find out more at wholesalerinstitute.com and psychedelic-awakening.com. The Getting High on Leadership series is produced by Rob Sanchez and Apartment 113, which can be found at apartment113.com and followed on Instagram at APT_113.